What is going on, boxing fam? We are back on the boxing game with Mike Lopez, and man, that fight right there showed exactly who Wardley is. You can talk all day about skill, experience, technique, but when it gets messy, when the pressure's real, that's where he lives. Parker was the better boxer, no doubt, in my eyes at least. He controlled the range early, landed clean, looked composed, but Wardley, he got that dog in him. He's not textbook, he's not super polished, he's just pure will and violence. Every time you think he's done, he finds a way to flip the whole thing on his head. Down on points, mouth bleeding, eyes swelling, and he still finds that window. That's not luck. That's just who he is. Wardley just reminded everyone that heart can still beat experience. And stick with me, because we are about to break this whole thing down and what's next for him. So, going into this fight, I'll be real, most people had Joseph Parker as the favorite or the guy who was going to win. I myself had him winning this fight on points. And it makes sense. He's been in there with everyone. Anthony Joshua, Joe Joyce, Deontay Wilder, Big Zhang, Andy Ruiz, you name it. He's got the experience, he's got the composure, and he knows how to manage those big moments. Meanwhile, Wardley's still learning on the job. No long amateur background, and he only began boxing at 20 years old, which is just wild to me. He's got no deep resume, just raw athleticism, heart, and that killer instinct that's hard to teach. But that's what made this fight so interesting. It wasn't just about who was better on paper, it was about who could impose themselves when things got tough. Wardley came in lighter, more mobile, clearly there to close the distance and test Parker's timing. Parker came in heavier, probably thinking he could wear Wardley down, keep it simple behind the jab, and drag him late. And honestly though, those first few rounds, it looked like that plan was working. Parker was calm, efficient, doing what veterans do. But that's the thing with Wardley. You can outbox him for 8 rounds, and he'll still make you uncomfortable. He's unpredictable, reckless in a good way, and he believes in his power every second of every round. Honestly, watching this fight live, I had Parker up. My fight card was 96-94, I believe, before that stoppage, and it just felt like he was in control most of the way, not in dominating fashion, but he was the one setting the tone. He was jabbing well early, managing distance, and forcing Wardley to reset over and over. You could see the difference in experience. Parker knew when to breathe, when to tie up, when to just touch and score. Wardley, on the other hand, looked like a guy still figuring things out on the fly. He had moments, no doubt. Caught Parker clean a few times. Had him rocked once, especially in that second round. But for most of the middle rounds, Parker was the one dictating pace. The problem was, he wasn't hurting Wardley. He was outboxing him, but not discouraging him. And that's the danger with Wardley. He's too raw to quit. He doesn't care if he's down on the cards. He's just hunting for that one moment. You could see the tide shift around round 10. Parker looked like he was trying to close the show, stepping in more, letting his hands go, and that's when it got risky. Wardley's face was busted up, mouth bleeding, but he was still throwing with bad intentions. Parker was landing the cleaner shots, but he started getting a little too confident, a little too available for the return fire. When that shot finally came, or shots came, it wasn't shocking because Wardley was winning. It was shocking because Parker blinked for just a second, and that's all Wardley needs. That's his gift and his curse. He doesn't need rhythm, he just needs chaos. And once he drags you into it, it's a whole different fight. By the way, Round 10 was absolutely wild. Go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. Up to that point, Parker was still winning this fight, on my card at least. He was landing the sharper shots, managing the exchanges better, and you can see the gap in experience showing. But that 10th round, that's where it got real. Parker started opening up more, maybe trying to close the show, and Wardley just refused to go away. You could see it in his body language, tired, face swollen, breathing heavy, but still marching forward like he didn't care what was coming back. Parker had him hurt earlier in that round, caught him clean with some nasty combinations, and honestly, I thought Wardley might have been on his way out. But then out of nowhere, he fires back, lands one big counter, and suddenly Parker's legs don't look the same. That's the kind of chaos Wardley brings. He turns a losing round into a 50-50 shootout just by refusing to back off. Then the 11th round hits, and you could tell Parker was fading. He wasn't moving the same, and his reactions were half a beat slower. Wardley smelled that weakness immediately. The shots weren't all clean, but he was throwing in volume, pushing Parker back, making the ref watch closely. When Parker got clipped and didn't clinch or fire back, I was screaming for Parker to grab him because he was just standing there taking those shots, and even though he wasn't getting caught clean, it looked bad, and that's all it takes for a ref to stop the fight. Now, was that an early stoppage? I'll have to rewatch again, but on first look, it seemed so. But at the same time, you got to defend yourself, man. Clinch or do something. You can't just stand there taking all those shots, whether they're hitting you or not, without you swinging back, without you clinching, without you showing some kind of defense besides just barely moving your head. It doesn't look good. But y'all let me know what y'all think on that. Was that an early stoppage or nah? Because half of what I see people saying, they're saying is an early stoppage. The other half, no. So y'all let me know in the comments what y'all thought about that. Now, after the stoppage, Wardley just straight up collapsed on the floor, probably being exhausted and also overwhelmed with the huge victory. You could tell that was everything to him. He knew he was down. He knew he had to dig deep. And when it paid off, you could see that weight lift off his shoulders. The guy literally said it himself. He makes up for his lack of experience with will, heart, and that dog in him. And that's exactly what we saw. And the way he spoke about Parker afterward, pure class. He didn't downplay him, didn't try to rewrite the story. He gave Parker full credit. That's something I respect because let's be real, Parker was boxing well. He was doing enough to win. But in boxing, enough ain't always enough when the other guy refuses to go down easy. Then Wardley goes and calls out Usyk. And you can tell he meant it. He wasn't trying to sell it. He believes he belongs in that conversation now. Frank Warren even said the fight's going to get made. And honestly, I love that energy. Whether it's too soon or not, you got to respect a guy who's willing to chase greatness right after the biggest win of his life. As for Parker, tough loss. He fought a good fight, just got caught in a moment where experience couldn't save him. No shame in that at all. He looked sharp, composed, but sometimes that last bit of killer instinct cost you when the other guy's still swinging through hell. What makes this win so big for Wardley isn't just the name on the resume, it's how he did it. Down on points, against a former world champion, fighting through blood, exhaustion, and pressure, and still found a way to stop him. That's not just a win, that's a statement. It says, I belong in the room with the top heavyweights. Wardley's story is kind of wild when you think about it. No long amateur career, no Olympic background, just a guy who picked up boxing late and turned himself into a problem. He's not polished like Usyk. He's not explosive like Wilder or someone like that. But what he's got is something you can't really teach. That internal belief, that refusal to fold when it gets dark. You see that, and you understand why promoters are already lining up the Usyk talk. Now, the real question, is he ready for Usyk? Probably not yet. I don't think so. But that's not really the point. What he's done is force his name into that top level conversation. And in today's heavyweight division, that matters because we've seen guys with talent but no dog, and we've seen guys with dog but no skill. Wardley's sitting somewhere in between, and that's what makes him dangerous. He's learning fast, and he's fearless enough to walk into fire while he figures it out. For Parker, this loss stings, but it doesn't erase who he is. He boxed well, showed veteran craft, but maybe lacked that extra gear to close it out. Still, he's the kind of fighter that keeps you honest, and I'd watch him against any top guy. This fight reminded everyone that in heavyweight boxing, nothing's guaranteed. You can win 8 rounds, and one mistake erases it all. Wardley just proved that again. At the end of the day, this fight showed you exactly what boxing's supposed to be. Unpredictable, raw, and full of moments you can't fake. Wardley might not be the most skilled guy in the room, but he's proving time and time again that heart can rewrite the script. He was losing this fight, and he still flipped it. Now he's staring down Oleksandr Usyk, and that's a whole different kind of test. But after a night like this, you can't count him out, not with that kind of belief. So that was my take on the whole Parker and Wardley battle. But I want to know yours, so drop your comments below. Every time you like, comment, subscribe, it helps YouTube push this video more, and your boy appreciates the love. I will catch you in the next one.